This program is paid for by Innovative Medical Associates. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Innovative Medical Associates or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPH.D or Odyssey.
Talk Radio 1210 WPH.D, WPH.D HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. Now, Health Watch, featuring Dr. Molly Fantasia, the PhD doctor and founder of Innovative Medical Associates, with valuable information that could help you improve your quality of life. Now, Health Watch.
Good morning and welcome. We are live.
We sure are.
We are live here in the studio. And it's another edition of Health Watch every Sunday, 8 till 9. Talk Radio 1210, WPHC. I'm your host, John DeMasi, with the one and only Dr. Molly Fantasia, the PhD doctor, the executive director, and the founder of Innovative Medical Associates, located in Marlton, New Jersey. Our mission statement here, we tell you everything about Innovative Medical, the who, what, when, where, why, and how it can help you potentially improve your overall quality of life. Dr. Molly is here and ready to talk to you at 855-839-1210. That's 855-839-1210. It is Health Watch, Sundays 8 till 9 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. It is with a bit of a heavy heart, Dr. Molly, that we start today's show.
It is, John. Definitely for me.
Your nurse, Barbara, unfortunately, passed away last week.
She did, which is why we weren't on Sunday live. And unfortunately, it was related to an auto accident that she had. And God bless her. She hit a pole, and there were some very, very serious injuries involved. And, this is a very difficult time for me. But I must say, Barbara and I worked side by side for 20 years. So she was a friend as well as a colleague. And one of the things I'd like to say was the one thing I knew for sure about Barbara, because we used to talk about it all the time, was that no matter what, it is the legacy of the work that we do that she always worried about.
She did.
And
she really
was
did.
Not precious with her knowledge, thank you, God. And we really put together some really interesting oral protocols for our patients, and that will continue in Barbara's memory. And so truly, truly, I will miss her, and I just know this is what she wanted us to do, John.
Yes, and the interesting thing about Barbara, she was on me all the time.
Oh,
you're checking your blood, you're
That's
checking
right.
your blood sugar, yeah, and she knew. Like if she gave me a supply of the blood sticks,
the Lancets,
she knew when the 30 days were up,
Right.
so she ordered the stuff before I told her to order it.
That's right. And you know why? Because Dr. Molly insisted that all of this be put on the computer so it pops up to us. So rest assured, your 30-day supply is in good hands. And
Yes.
that is true for all the things that people ordered, etc. We prepare, someone once said to me, what about your legacy, Dr. Molly? Well, I believe my legacy is going to be in the body of the work, which is also, as I said, my recipes, and they are all jotted down and on the computer and done. But I have to tell you, I'm still going to miss my conversations with Barbara, and believe me, she could be a handful sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But in the end, she wanted this work to go on, and I hope that we continue to serve our patients in the manner that she would be proud of.
Barbara, we will miss you, and certainly nice knowing you. 855-839-1210, that's our number here in the studio. Dr. Molly is here and ready to talk to you. 855-839-1210 is our number. What do you do? So now that we said what you do, what do you do?
Well, John, we actually are a group of like-minded healthcare providers who are all working out of my facility in Marlton, New Jersey. And we're primary care focused. By that I mean we can do anything a general practitioner can do, and actually many more things than your typical primary care practitioner can do. But our real key here is the focus on using the least amount of pharmaceuticals to effectuate a change for a patient in a manner that keeps them safe by using natural products, God's ingredients, and we deliver that by hydration.
And why hydration? That's a good question.
Well, hydration is very, very important. because it can deliver the therapeutic level of the nutraceuticals in a way that is quick, easy, and very easy on the patient, meaning you don't have to have the digestive problems and those kinds of issues.
And the hydration, I guess, in many ways takes the place, potentially, of the pharmaceuticals.
It can, John, it can. But it also can augment the pharmaceuticals. And that's really equally as important because we're able to reduce some of what they consider the typical dosing, thereby eliminating some of the challenges people have with the pharmaceutical side effects, which, by the way, are too numerous to count many times.
Yes. They give you a book, what the prescription.
We're going to talk about one of my patients and that book and the expense of that book later in the show. But you're right.
Yeah, it's incredible the amount of side effects that they have. Are there side effects with?
Oh, sure. You can listen. We want to know if you have a particular allergy. It's in our intake form. You have to deliver these nutraceuticals correctly. But again, I'm looking not at a particular nutraceutical. For example, if I'm giving you frankincense, it's not the frankincense I'm worried about. It's the boswellic acid that's in the frankincense that is actually the constituent, and delivered properly, it is highly anti-inflammatory.
Does this work?
It works.
I've always asked you that.
It works, and the proof of the pudding is in how well our patients do. I think, certainly post-COVID, I have seen my share of people who've had lung problems post-COVID, but the fatigue too. And I got to tell you that our patients tend to do better than most patients who are not treated with the hydration therapies the way we deliver them.
So in the case of a patient who comes in for initial consultation, signs up, how many treatments should they expect?
And
you were telling me before the show.
That's the $64 million question, because you really have to look at how long a patient has had these problems, what challenges are they looking to overcome, what are their two top issues with the problem, and how do we go about doing it. So it can go anywhere from 5 weeks to 30 weeks or above 30 weeks, depending on how chronic the condition is. My cancer supportive patients have been with me through their whole journey, and I have many who've done nothing else but what we do. Now, I don't tell people that that's the only thing they can do. I want them to do whatever they feel in their hearts that they need to do to lick their cancer. And if that means chemo or radiation, we're here to support you through it. But if that means not doing anything, we're here to support you through that too.
When I said about does it work, I got to tell you, the place is so busy anymore.
Yes.
And I see so many new faces. I don't even know who they are. So
John, they all know you, though.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Thing. They come in just to see you, so I'm very lucky that way. But really, it's because actually, I think at this point, we're getting so many people from out of town, and that's a very interesting phenomenon. And that can only happen if the people who came to me in the beginning, this worked for. And that's how it's word of mouth, of course. But I love to give out the information on our show because I think it's really important that people know that medical hydration, and I said the word medical hydration, is very unique, and if done properly, it really can help a patient through their healing journey.
And that's the key, done properly.
Oh, yes.
And I guess it's hard to know, but how would people know that it's getting done properly?
Well, I'm going to tell you, we're not a spa. You'll notice that I don't have a sign out saying come for your Botox and come for your laser treatment, and because we really have spent the last 27 years, and I got to send a shout out to my nurse, Linda. Lovely Linda and I have been doing this for over maybe 28 years. I'm not sure. She always corrects me. But the point is, we've developed these protocols along with my physicians, in my early physicians and right up to my last two right now, always innovating these particular protocols. Every time we read new data, every time we're looking ahead, and we want to put things together that we know will help a patient's quality of life. And I think that's all I can say about it. And you want to do it in a safe and well-equipped clinic, and that's what we are.
Many times you've said the synergy of the combinations and all that has a lot to do with it.
It certainly does. It's how it's given. It's what's giving with each other. There are things you have to understand that putting together IV therapies, traditionally IV therapies, people will tell you, you don't just throw two things in a bag and give it to a patient. Can't be done that way. We have to take into consideration things about what goes on the cellular level. Does the fluid go into the cells, go out of the cells? These kinds of things are always in our minds. So it isn't quick. You can't just throw it together and say, oh, this is how you do it. There is real thinking, and you have to be very accurate and precise in your measurements of these.
And my protocol was changed this week.
Yes, it was.
And I was reminded by the lovely Linda, you've got to go slower.
That's right. That's right. And and that's very important. Even the rate of speed of what we deliver has to be monitored.
And you do that all the time.
Amen. I'm lucky.
We are coming up on our first break of the morning. It is Health Watch every Sunday, 8 till 9 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Dr. Molly Fantasia is here, the PhD doctor, the executive director, and the founder of Innovative Medical Associates located in Marlton, New Jersey. 855-839-1210 is the number here in the studio. And we always tell you at this point of the show, call early, so you don't call at 2 minutes to 9, and then we can't take your call. And it happens every week. 855-839-1210. I'm your host, John DeMasi. We're both, Dr. Molly and I, are returning after these words. We are back here on Health Watch, and operators, as always, are standing by right now at Innovative Medical Associates, and the number 856-489-0505. That's 856-489-0505. When you call, really the only thing you want to do is make that initial consultation appointment with Dr. Molly. It is complimentary, and you'll find out how she does what she does and how she can potentially help you with whatever your problem happens to be. Make the call, 856-489-0505, and the website, innovativemedicalassociates.com, innovativemedicalassociates.com. That's the website. Our program is Health Watch, Sundays 8 till 9 here, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Dr. Molly Fantasia is here and ready to talk to you at 855-839-1210. A fascinating thing that you have really taken in your facility, the Body K is a body instrument?
Yes, it measures 30 plus parameters, and it's a very non-invasive particular instrument. And what happens is we actually use leads very similar to the type of thing when you go in and you're having an EKG or that kind of thing in various parts of the body, including the head, including various blood pressure monitoring all put on. We actually put leads on the bottom of your feet. So it's sort of comprehensive. And we run this. It's about 7 to 8 minutes. We get all this data. The data is downloaded into our instrument, and the AI, this is a good use of AI, folks, okay, is compressed. And then we can see where on a micro level there's some changes in your body that may lead to actually uncovering certain types of disorders that maybe you don't even know you have right at the moment. In other words, they're brewing. But we can see that this is the area of your body, whether it's microcirculation, which I talk about a lot on this episode,
right,
or it's autonomic, which is nerve. And it can tell us, oh, this is happening. Let's look at how we can then really improve your hydration. That's the whole point of this. I can take this data, compress this data, look at each individual and say, we're making progress in your microcirculation, but we still have some trouble with respiration, even though you may not be feeling like you have it on a micro level. This is so fascinating. And believe me, Dr. Molly likes to stay ahead of the curve with things. This is a brand new instrument, and I don't believe there's any of them out right now in New Jersey. And they may not be in our area because, I really have helped this company with data. And how do I know this is working? Well, I'm going to tell you, because I'm putting my patients who we've been treating for long-term challenges on this instrument and seeing what their compressed data looks like. And I'll be darned if it isn't picking up many of the conditions, but also uncovering some potential problems that we didn't know could exist.
It would seem to me that this is perfect for somebody who comes to you, and this happens all the time. They don't know that they could be this, they could be this.
That's right.
I don't know what I got, and then this machine comes in.
And I'll tell you something. It's very interesting because I'm seeing more and more people with autonomic dysfunction. Now, autonomic dysfunction is something people talk about it a lot when it concerns something called POTS, which is a condition, a syndrome. And many times it's orthostatic tachycardic syndrome, which means it involves the nerves on the heart and the vessels and everything, POTS syndrome. But what's interesting is generally people go to the neurologist to get that, to get a definite diagnosis. But if you don't know you have a potential for it or have it, you don't know where to go. This can help us refer you to a neurologist who's a specialist in this. But the goal of the neurologist is actually to evaluate the symptoms, make the diagnosis, and then send you back to a primary care facility like ours to actually treat the long term. Isn't that interesting? Because there's the neurologist really doesn't get into treating it long term because it's multidisciplinary. So it's fascinating, and we know that hydration is a big part of some of these dysfunctions.
This is really fascinating.
Yes, it is. It is.
It's just another tool.
Yes, it's another tool in our black bag to help patients delineate exactly what's going on and where it's going on within the body. And it really gives us a jump on your well care. I mean, if you think you're perfectly fine, but then we see you're regressed in respiration, you may have some hyperstatic blood pressure, standing and sitting. All of these things are done on this test in 7-8 minutes. That can be an indication of something that's going on that we're not even aware of.
And then
we'll discuss it with the patient, and then we'll go from there. If you truly, as I do everything, if you truly need a specialist, what am I going to do? I'm send you to a specialist, don't I? But the ultimate goal is to be treated for these syndromes, because in the end, many times there's not many pharmaceuticals that help many of these things. So you want to treat the patient, send them to the specialist, get the diagnosis, come back to something like ours. But in many cases, if they're subtle, we can treat right there and then.
And then, of course, that helps you
decide
what kind of treatment option.
What's going to go in your bag. It's pretty cool. But getting back to the POTS, which, by the way, people make fun of the syndrome, but it really is a form of this autonomic nerve dysfunction. And I will tell you, when people have it, it is very unnerving. You know the young lady I have who comes in, Julie. Now, Julie was with me 10 years ago, left me, and has been running around to so many specialists to get a definitive diagnosis. When I saw her, when I reviewed the chart, I said, Julie, I really think you have an autonomic disorder similar, if not POTS, similar to that. And indeed she does. The instrument has pointed me in that direction. So how does one treat POTS? Well, it's a very interesting situation, because POTS cannot be treated. Let's put it this way. It isn't a quick fix. It doesn't come over you quickly, and it's not a quick fix. So the first and foremost way, and this is traditionally, guys, is hydration. Hydration. Why hydration? Because you need more fluid to expand the blood volume in order to stop some of the symptoms that you have, in particular the lightheadedness, the dizziness that goes with it, and the actual blood pressure changes that you get from walking, sitting, and standing. So this is an important piece. Also, it's a temperature change. Also, that is one of the problems in POTS. So what you have, here's the symptoms, and it's crazy. Decreased sweating or excessive sweating. So it can be either side of that coin. So decrease, excessive. It can be feeling hot or cold in some parts of the body that are due to the issues that cause blood vessels to narrow or widen. So far, you're getting this, John, right? Because I treat this just regularly for some things, correct?
Right.
Okay. Gastrointestinal problems such as constipation, slow digestion. This young lady has all of this. Slow motility. She has so far she has every one of these. Bladder issues, unable to empty the bladder fully because there are nerve endings in there that tell you when you have to go and how you've relieved yourself. You can have some sexual problems, vaginal dryness, difficulty maintaining your erection, and problems with pupils that cause you to adapt to changes in light not quickly enough. So these are all symptoms of autonomic dysfunction. And I will tell you, this instrument picks these things up when we're running the leads, and it actually compresses that into a bar and shows me which areas are affected.
Fascinating
It's
stuff.
great. It's
it really
great.
is.
And so here we go. If you have an autonomic nervous disorder, you may not have POTS, but you may have an autonomic neuropathy. That causes diabetes. It can be caused by an infection or an autoimmune disorder and toxic exposures. POTS is the second one that's not well understood. It's thought to be a problem with blood circulation, but we really don't know. We think it can be related to diet and gluten. So there are some things there. And autonomic failure, which is the worst thing, like Parkinson's disease, strokes, MS, tumors, and disorders of the central nervous system. And this instrument picks up some very minute data, compresses this, and we move forward. And I'm not saying it's the beginning or the end all.
Hold that right there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
Because I know you get on a roll.
I'm excited.
And it's exciting, and it is fascinating stuff. And we have more to talk about here on the show. We are at the halfway point of the program, Health Watch, every Sunday, 8 till 9, right here on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Dr. Molly Fantasia is here, the PhD doctor, the executive director, and the founder of Innovative Medical Associates, located in Marlton, New Jersey. 855-839-1210 is the number here in the studio. We have some open lines, so if you want to call in right now, good time to do that. 855-839-1210. With Dr. Molly, I'm your host, John DeMasi. We are coming back with more Health Watch after these words. We are back here on Health Watch, and again, operators standing by right now at Innovative Medical Associates. The number, 856-489-0505. That's 856-489-0505. When you call, you want to set up that initial consultation with Dr. Molly. It is complimentary, but that's really where you're going to find out what Dr. Molly does, how she can do it in a way that can help you. And it's just a very beneficial couple of minutes with Dr. Molly. 856-489-0505. And the website, innovativemedicalassociates.com, innovativemedicalassociates.com. That's the website. Our program is Health Watch, Sundays 8 till 9 here, Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. The number here in the studio, 855-839-1210. You have a medical challenge you want to run by Dr. Molly, or you have a question, 855-839-1210. We are picking up our discussion on POTS and how it helps. And first of all, can you explain what POTS is?
It's an autonomic dysfunction, John. So, as I said, as I was telling everybody, you heard the list of symptoms, and
yes,
it's very convoluted. And people can maybe go to a cardiologist for the tachycardia, the heart stuff. People may go to a neurologist for some of the brain fog and those kinds of issues. But honestly, once you get this diagnosis, generally the specialist really will attempt to stabilize you, possibly with some medication, but there really isn't a cure for most of autonomic dysfunction. So treatment, even traditional treatment, may just manage the symptoms and help people try to experience a better quality of life. However, as I've seen in our clinic, when people come in and they truly have a diagnosis of POTS or an autonomic dysfunction, I found that taking the medication can stabilize like the blood pressure, but it isn't good for the long term, because of some of the side effects to some of the meds. Now, that's just one of the issues. That's just one of the meds.
And therein comes the hydration.
Therein comes the hydration. Right. The hydration is important. Now, medicine can control some symptoms, even the intolerance of hot and cold temperatures, digestive issues, and bladder functions. We all know there are medications out there. But in the end, it's very interesting that hydration tends to work very well with these patients, meaning because it increases the blood volume, therefore it does the reduction in the heart rate. So you may not have that up and down rate with the hydration if given correctly. In addition, we would use electrolytes, which are very important. Everybody knows about Pedialyte. You can get them in there. But I'll tell you, there's nothing like getting those electrolytes in your hydration bag in a proper ratio for the patient and the patient's height, weight, etc. Also, we use a lot of the B vitamins. Why? B works on the neuro, right? In the head, the brain. And this is an autonomic type of dysfunction. So there are B vitamins in there. And again, I'm going to use the specific Bs for you. If you can't take cyanocobalamin, what's the good of giving it to you, right?
Right.
So we need to look at that. You may need a methylated B. You may need folate acid, not folic. So there are many nuances to what we do in our hydration protocol for these types of conditions. Vitamin C, of course. And in this case, really, we probably would use an extract of vitamin C, maybe from tapioca, maybe even from beets. I wouldn't want to use a corn source because that might have too much sugar in it, particularly for people who've got some underlying conditions like the diabetes with this. We want to look at a proper amount of magnesium because what does magnesium do, John? It improves your nerve functions. So you have to look at whether we're improving your neurons in your head, whether we're looking for the digestive issues, or are we looking to improve overall nerve function from head to toe. So magnesium would be important. Guess what else we might use? We might use an extract of licorice root, because it can work on your cortisol level, and it may be something that you need to give a boost. The adrenals, sometimes the adrenals are affected in this condition. So again, it depends on the subset.
This is a lot.
It is.
And how do you figure, how do you know what to do with what?
You have to look at whether they come in with these symptoms. You really got to sit with the symptomatology. And I sent a patient to a cardiologist who specialized in POTS, and he sent the patient back to me for us to then look at what we can do to improve her quality of life. And as sitting here now, I think we have improved her quality of life, not to the point where she would be dancing a jig, but certainly been able to function more readily in her job. So there are nuances to this, and it's not the kind of thing that you just slap a protocol together. You really got to tweak it for the individual and the subset of the dysregulation. That's the key. There's not just one issue with this thing. It's a multifaceted problem. And that's why it's so hard to diagnose and very hard to treat. And most times the specialists can't treat it like we can. They send them back to this because they know the hydration, even traditionally, will work, even if it's empty. But imagine using the hydration with the particular nutraceuticals that have an effect on those certain areas in the body.
Back to what you said way back in the first segment.
I don't know what
synergy, the synergy of the
right.
nutraceuticals is very important.
Right, and that's the other reason why I love the Body K, because it can pick up some nuances and say to me, this particular autonomic issue is really more vascular than anything else. Well, then I might look at some of the things like alpha lipoic acid for that patient in their hydration. So again, it depends on what it is we're trying to accomplish. Iron is very important. And you know what else? Coenzyme Q10. We have it.
We have our favorite caller on the line. Frank from the Northeast. Frank,
Hi,
good
Frank.
morning. You're on Health Watch with Dr. Molly.
Hi, Frank.
Hey,
So-
hey, Doc. Hey, John.
Hey, Frank, I want to just say something. I had no time to you can imagine the kind of week I had with all this going on. I was hoping you were listening today so that I could apologize to you for not returning the call. I just couldn't because of all this hubbub. But thank you, Frank. Thank you.
Dr. Molly, first of all, I love you, and I say this respectfully, shut up. Dr. Molly, I said it joking around. Don't ever apologize to me. You're the best in the world.
Thank
I know
you.
you're busy like crazy, and I was not aware of what happened to Barbara and everything, so
Right.
understandable.
Yeah.
But that's what I do have a question, Dr. Molly. But Barbara, I'm sorry what happened to you. And you were a legend. She was the master of nutritional supplementation. Before I knew who she was, I've talked to her, and she recommended this. Before I knew who she was, I would say, what about this? Well, Frank, that's okay, but this is better.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, she had her favorites. She did,
She
yeah.
did have her favorites.
Yes.
I will say that.
But Dr. Molly, again, same old problem. No matter what I eat, I swallow up in my face, my stomach and stuff. Like Friday, I mixed some yogurt with some trail mix with just nuts and seeds and stuff. The tip of the spoon was just a little bit of yogurt. Never bothered me before. Just hit my lips. All of a sudden, my neck, my face, my abdomen swelled up like a water balloon. You touched it. It was that much inflammation.
Oh, my God.
I already had my appointment to see my family doctor because I saw my neurologist on
Good.
June 13th.
Good.
She did blood
Good.
work.
Right.
My C-reactive protein was 3.41. My new testosterone was 6. I never had that done before. I didn't even know what that was. My family doctor, he said I had nothing to worry about. But he said I may want to see an allergist. Dr. Molly, from December at my family doctor, I gained 50 pounds in 6 months. I'm not doing anything different. What's the difference between I had I had allergy tested like 50 years ago.
Right.
I'm allergic to everything in the world. But it's never been this bad. I swell. No matter what I eat, I can't figure it out. I don't know if I should see an allergist. Is there a difference between an immunologist? I'm fed up.
Sure.
I'm tired.
I know you are, Frank, but here's the thing. This is a complex issue, right? You have autoimmune on steroids, so to speak. You have an autoimmune disorder on steroids. You know, one of the things I would I never recommend for you is to mix two substances together and swallow them, okay? Because then we can't see, was it the trail mix? Was it this particular brand of yogurt? I mean, you know, I think you've got to be extremely careful about how you eat and almost eat one substance at a time, my friend.
Dr.
Really.
Molly, I'm sorry. I did that 2 years ago, the elimination thing, one thing at a time. And I couldn't tell the difference.
Well,
One day it didn't bother me, one day it did bother me.
yeah, you know what? That's not unusual, Frank, because what can happen is the body gets stuck on some things, and you're in a state of constant inflammation. I don't think I've told you. I think I've told you over and over that you really got to get in and see me on a more regular basis because I think we can help you get some of the inflammation under control. You know I love to have you, Frank. So, you know, if you can get a ride, definitely do that. And let's hear what they say because I think the inflammation is number one for you. I'm talking about global inflammation.
When John mentioned that new machine, I was changing rooms. I missed what you were talking about. Would that apply? Would that help me at all?
It might, Frank. I would certainly run it on you because you're an interesting patient, and I think we could certainly do something with that. And it may even pinpoint a couple of other things that are nuances that people are missing. So, yes, the short answer is yes. And I would tell you to try to come in on a Wednesday or a Friday morning for it because that's when we're least busy and I can spend some of the time with you. Okay?
Okay, Dr. Molly,
Frank.
one more thing.
Yes.
Barbara, if I remember correctly, wasn't she your patient first before she became an employee?
Yes. I tell you, she'd still be with us if she didn't have that darn car accident.
Yeah,
That
it
car
was
accident
tough.
she had
That was
really
tough.
had tremendous trauma. And I will tell you, that's something everybody, listen to Dr. Molly. Don't be cavalier. Put your seatbelt on, please. And this is a public service announcement.
Yes.
Please put your seatbelt on, you know?
Frank,
Thank
make
you.
sure you get in there.
God bless you, Frank.
Okay.
Do what you can to get in.
Thanks, Dr. Molly and John.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
a lot
you.
for the
Thank
call.
you.
We are coming up on our final break of the morning. After the break, we're going to take Anthony from media, and he's
Great.
hanging in there. So
Good.
we'll take
Good.
him after the break.
Good.
And maybe you at 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. It's Health Watch every Sunday, 8 till 9 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Dr. Molly Fantasia and I will return with more of today's edition of Health Watch after these words. We are back here on Health Watch. Operators standing by right now at Innovative Medical Associates, and they will be there well after we leave you at 9 o'clock. In fact, they're not going anywhere today. They're standing by. 856-489-0505. 856-489-0505. That's the number. And the website is innovativemedicalassociates.com. innovativemedicalassociates.com. And don't forget, if you missed any of today's show, we have our Health Watch replay every Sunday 4 till 5 in the afternoon right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We're going to the phones right now. Anthony is in media. Anthony, good morning. Welcome to Health Watch.
Hi, Anthony. How you doing?
Hey, Dr. Molly. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
All right.
So, I had prostate cancer about 14 years ago, I think, and it's reared its ugly head. Again,
okay.
PSA was climbing.
Mm-hmm.
It went from a negative number to 2.93.
Okay. Okay.
And I have a great.
Anthony, talk to me. Tell me what treatment you had prior to this. Was just watchful waiting, or
radical?
Good.
Radical prostatectomy and radiation.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm getting the residual from the radiation. The side effects now.
Oh, of course.
So quality of life has gone down.
Well,
but
I would. What are they recommending in the moment right now for you?
Our lovely healthcare system, has to get worse before it gets better.
Right.
So
right. Yeah.
I took a proactive. My doctor, who's great, but vitamins and everything is quackery as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, I know they feel like that. Many of them feel like that, particularly when they're associated with the systems. Okay, if they're not delivering it, you're not going to get it. No,
Exactly.
Listen, you sound like you're a pretty intelligent guy. How old are you, Anthony? Can I ask?
I'm 63.
Oh my God, you're
He's a
young.
baby.
Listen. Why don't you come over and talk to me? Or at least send me your records, your last blood work, this kind of thing. Send them over to the office. Okay, if you call the office, we can give you the fax machine. But I would love to see you. I would like to talk to you.
I got good news. And I kind of like. I'm so excited. I mean, This August, I go for another 30-day test and for PSA.
Yes.
And my as fast as it went up, it's going down. My doctor said he's never seen anything like it.
Wonderful.
So I read a book called The World Without Cancer.
Yes, I know it. God bless you.
And I haven't did the amygdalin, but I have did the inflammation route.
Good.
And corn silk, oil of oregano.
Listen, you got to come over and work for me. Come on over and work with us, will you? Come on. You're the kind of patient we love. Honestly, this is good news. And you know what? I got to tell you, thank God you kept your wits about you through this. You didn't panic. I know.
Oh, my God.
I know. And I bet you they scared the heck out of your wife, right? I mean, right?
My wife is the rock. I'm the worrier.
Okay.
My wife is the rock.
Okay. I know. You are smart. You are a smart man. Smart. I don't know what you do for a living, but you ought to come over and moonlight with me.
Anthony,
all right? You're a great guy, Anthony. God bless you.
Make sure you send that info to Dr. Molly.
Yeah, I'd love to chat with you again.
She's looking forward to it.
I really will.
I'll follow up.
Okay.
All right. You're a good guy. God
Thanks
bless
for the call.
you.
Appreciate
God bless you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's
couple
a
of minutes left of the
wonderful
show. Yeah, it was
That's
a good
wonderful
call.
call. And that's what I want our patients to understand, or the people out there to listen to this, John, because what do? We want to empower our patients to do things. People who know the clinic know that Pam is one of the patients who empowered herself to look around and do what else she needed to do to fight the breast cancer. People who come in, they see our cancer patients, they know what they're doing, the supportive care they did. I had a patient who started only about, I don't know, maybe 5 weeks ago, who's a nurse. She comes up from Delaware with her mother. Both have breast cancer. Very intelligent, did all the reading, read the book that this young man is talking about. And I will tell you, she's followed up on all the suggestions that we've given her about off-label use of regular medication. Listen, because you can do that, and you know we like to use it in smaller amounts. And I got to tell you, there's so much out there to improve your quality of life. Can we cure, John? No. But can we help our patients through these dastardly conditions? The answer is yes.
I wanted to comment on, you usually end up at the show telling us about patients. Joan, she really looked good the other day. I saw her. She looked fabulous.
Yes, because she is another one that's she's a thinking woman. She didn't panic. You know, she went up, she sees a large facility in North Jersey. She has Mets to the brain. She's doing everything. She did a full course of radiation there. She was pretty depleted when she came back to me, but she's following our protocol, and she didn't miss a beat even through the radiation. And the radiologist even called me to tell me how good she's doing. So, look, can we cure, John? No. But I will tell you, with God's help, we can keep you going. And the big man upstairs, he's the guy. He's the guy that can do the cures no matter what.
Well, you can improve the quality of life.
Amen.
That's the goal.
Amen.
That is going to put the wraps on another edition of Health Watch. Don't forget, operators are standing by, and they're going to be there well after we leave you at 9 o'clock this morning. In fact, they'll be there all day. 856-489-0505 is the number. 856-489-0505. And the website, innovativemedicalassociates.com. innovativemedicalassociates.com. And don't forget, if you missed any of today's show, you can hear it all over again, 4 to 5 this afternoon, right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPH.D. For Dr. Molly Fantasia and everyone at Innovative Medical Associates, the lovely Linda, and our nursing staff, Lana, Donna, Jess, Jim, and Daniel. Then, of course, there's Joanne, Delightful D, Fabulous Fran, and our medical assistant, Sandra. I'm your host, John DeMasi. Thank you for listening. We'll do it all over again next Sunday, 8 till 9, Health Watch, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. You take care.
This program is paid for by Innovative Medical Associates. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Innovative Medical Associates or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.